me wanna holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab.
Oh, you know we need them. We really need them. We need those strategies for living. Are you ready? Ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
I'm ready.
Yeah? Well, welcome then. Welcome into Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. I'm Dr. David McMillan. She is psychotherapist, PLPC, Lauren Leon McMillan.
Right?
Yeah. You know, no matter who we're talking about, you, me, anybody else out there, anybody that's listening right now, that whether they're listening on the radio or whether they're listening to us later on Facebook, on our Facebook page, which is Strategies for Living with David McMillan, or our YouTube page,
Right.
which is Strategies for Living.
That's it.
Yeah.
Strategies for living.
Every single person, I can say with certainty,
Mhm.
shares one thing for sure.
Yeah.
We're getting older.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Every single person listening, doesn't matter where you are right now, whether you're 1550 or
As far as we know it, and
505.
as far as we perceive of it, we are moving through linear space-time.
There you
I
go.
suppose.
There you go. So I recently read an article that presented some hard truths about getting older that people say they're not ready for.
Mm.
And I thought it would be interesting for you and I, since, you know, there is a little difference in our age.
Not much.
Yeah, not
Just
much.
a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. I thought this would be interesting to, maybe do a program where we talk about what this article says, the things that people share, truths about getting older that they weren't ready for. Because there is a little difference in our ages. I'll talk from my end, and you can talk from your perception and your end.
Okay.
You know?
I don't know that I have much to contribute yet. But I will do my
we'll
best.
see it. You don't know what the
I am
truths are
still
yet.
aging,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
But what we're talking about is grief.
yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that as
Okay.
we go on, because that's an interesting idea right there. Folks, thank you for tuning into Strategies for Living today. We appreciate you being here with us, and we appreciate our sponsors making it possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitas Delicatessen, home of The Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage. What are the hard truths about getting older that people say they're not ready for? We're talking about them today on Strategies. Stay with us.
Turn the dial and hear that sound. Strategies for living keep you safe and sound. Tune in every night, let the wisdom flow. Mind, body, spirit, let your heart glow. So cozy up with a cup of cheer. Experts on the airwaves, January to December. Learn to love yourself and others too. Every single night we got advice for you. Jingle bell, radio's on. Healthy tips and tricks from dusk.
You've been writing again,
There it
haven't
is.
you?
Yeah.
There it is.
A little sneaky Christmas flair in there. Holiday cheer.
Yeah, there you go. A little jingle in your bell.
Yeah.
Welcome, folks. Welcome into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. I promise, folks, I'm listening to this as you are. I really I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say anything else. Good job, Lauren.
Thanks.
I'll leave it at that.
I'd like to play around a little bit.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
Who knew AI would be so much fun, right? And we've had fun with a couple of different AI apps.
Yeah.
And folks, welcome into Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM 710 Keel. Talking about Leon McMillan, David McMillan, talking about people list some hard truths about getting older that they weren't ready for. There was a 2019 survey that found, and this was globally, that people think old age begins at 66. That's the
Okay.
yeah. That's the
That's the number.
yeah. That's the number. And when they were asked to describe it, they usually use the term, and I'll give some of the terms. 35% of them said wise. Frail is what 32% of them said.
Okay.
30% of them said lonely. 25% of them said respected. So I think that's interesting. So 35 and 25, 35% wise, 25% respected. So that's 60% that I would say is definitely positive.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
The lonely and the frail is 62%. Yeah. So,
it would be interesting. I'm kind of guessing this was probably a Western survey.
I don't know. It doesn't reference it.
It would be interesting, how that perception of your elders changed over different cultures and areas.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't like the way that we treat the older generation especially maybe in the United States, but in the Western cultures, we don't respect them. To the degree that other cultures do.
And this is certainly not every family by any means.
No.
But we tend to, and we have for some period of time. I mean, I know that my grandparents both passed away in nursing homes.
Right.
When my parents, I think, dealt with the pain of watching both of their mothers, both of my grandmothers, go through this. One of the things that they stressed to me, my brother, and my sister was, we don't want to do that unless it's absolutely necessary. And we were able to do that for them, and to this day, I'm proud that we were able to make that happen. Now. Both of them,
they thought they were.
They were in their own home. Both of them passed away in their own bedroom.
Right.
But they didn't know they were there at that point. So, there were dementia-related issues that came into play. But the fact is that I'm glad that my brother, sister, and I were able to work together and honor that request. People say, they believe that we need to prepare for this period of our lives. Well, how do you
do that?
How
do you prepare for anything?
Well, I think and we're talking about this a lot more here lately. Since the election and since the pick of RFK Jr., exercising regularly and eating a healthy diet.
Yep.
And I hope I don't know what's going to happen with the new administration, if RFK Jr. is going to be, if he's going to be accepted or not. But one way or another, I hope we keep talking about the importance of our diet.
Yeah.
And the importance of what's in our food and the importance of staying active.
And advocating for, good food production and quality food.
Right. But the fact is, and I mean, of course, obviously, in addition to exercising and eating a healthy diet, you want to try to save enough money for an adequate, retirement. And obviously now we all know we need to avoid smoking, as well as having a good circle of friends that support us, and hopefully a hobby, a
Hmm.
sport or a hobby that we're involved in. But sometimes no matter how much you plan, you can't really fully understand what lies ahead for you,
No, you don't
right?
know what you don't know.
Yeah. And you don't know until you start experiencing it. And and here's the thing. I'm 68 years old. Um and aside from uh some occasional bouts with aching knees,
Hmm.
you know, uh I really don't feel 68 years old,
Yeah.
you know? Um and
I think
so
that's a well kept secret for all of us. I think I'm suspicious. I don't know, but I'm suspicious that none of us truly feel the age that we are.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
we still, we may say we're an adult or we're then an older adult, right? And still be looking around, from through the eyes of the inner child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way this article came about is somebody on Reddit posted a question
Hmm.
on that platform. And the question was, what's the hardest part about getting older?
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
And so we're going to talk about today what the most popular answers are and just kind of bat them back and forth a bit. The number one was that with each passing day, my chance to see the world passes. So I don't have the money to travel
Mm.
as much as I want. And I know I'll die missing out on so much. It's a sad reality for everyone, but it's still hard to handle. And
Mm.
so that was the most popular answer on this. Um,
I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I have some thoughts about this
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
One of the thoughts that I have about this one is okay. Well, maybe this is, and you and I have talked about this uh, on the program, Lauren.
Hmm.
You love to travel. I'm
Hmm.
more of a homebody, right?
Right. Hmm.
But I stretch and I go because I know you love to do that, right?
Right.
But my we can travel today with technology being the way it is.
Hmm.
We can travel without traveling.
Yep.
What the heck do I mean?
That's where I was gonna go with that too. Hmm.
Well, I mean, we look on if you take advantage, and I'm not talking about paying a lot of money for this, because obviously travel's expensive, and that's what this person was indicating. But there are programs available to us through television and the
Hmm.
and the media,
I
and
remember in my grandfather, actually, in the last year or two of his life, actually, he discovered Google Earth.
yeah,
And he had such a great time.
he had a blast
Yeah,
with it, right?
sitting in the kitchen at his little laptop,
Going wherever.
walking the streets of Italy through Google Earth. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it blew his mind
yeah,
because, our ancestors came from Sicily. And so
yeah,
his ability to sit in his kitchen chair and walk the streets that our ancestors likely walked on,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And his being able to change, he was very into technology. So he was able to change the year that the photos were taken. And so he enjoyed seeing the changes over time too.
I
But,
had I had a client several years ago who came over to this country to practice his chosen profession, and he had a brother and a mother back home. He lived in one of the countries that split off from out of the former Soviet Union,
okay.
and he blew me away one day because he would talk often when he came in about he had talked to his mother or he had talked to his brother. One day he showed me through Google Earth
Hmm.
exactly where his mom lived,
Yeah.
and he showed me through Google Earth her front door.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's
It
amazing.
is. Yeah.
It's amazing. Uh, so again, there's more than one way to travel the world. Let's also not forget about the importance of keeping our mind busy through the written word. whether it's through magazine articles, through
Oh,
reading books.
contain thousands of millions of worlds that we may never even see on Earth.
In
right?
fact, you can time travel. I mean, are
Right.
you interested in what happened back in Abraham Lincoln's day? Well, you know what? You can go there. You can time travel back there,
Yep.
you know, and that blows your mind, right? One of the things that I think is a proven fact is the more you continue to be involved in learning, the more likely you are to stay, quote unquote, young.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. In fact, there's a Henry Ford quote. I think when the day you stop learning is the day you get old, whether at 20 or 80. Something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or those who continue to learn stay young.
Stay young.
Yeah.
So, we're talking today on strategies. We're talking about the kind of the hard truths of getting older and what some people say are the hard truths of aging. And we're just throwing them out there so we can talk about them and compare them and maybe consider them.
Get a little strategies out of them along the way.
Maybe get some strategies. We've already got a strategy or two on the table. Getting older, it's not for sissies. We're talking about it today here on Strategies for a Living. More to come. Stay with us.
From the bayou to your table, we're keeping it alive with flavors from the family, passed down to survive. The Godfather's here with a twist in the tail, alligator Italian sausage, and it sure won't fail. It's the boss of the bayou, a taste you can't refuse. Italian tradition, Cajun infused. Godfather sausage, bold and true. The Padres bringing the bayou to you.
Get the Godfather alligator Italian sausage only at Fertitta's Delicatessen, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Pick up a muffy while you're there. The Godfather alligator Italian sausage. It's a taste you can't refuse. Sold only at Fertitta's, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Dealing with stress, pain, feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's, thebalancedlife.us.
David and Lauren, under stars so bright, with holly and ivy they bring the light. Healthy mind, body, spirit reigns supreme. Tune in every night to fulfill your dream.
Where did you get
Strategies
her?
for living.
She's the daughter of a crooner.
Mending
Lord.
hearts and lives with tender
Welcome back.
care.
Welcome back into Strategies for a Living. As I said, folks, you're debuting these as I am, so
You're picking these off my drawing board. I
yeah.
didn't even flesh them out.
You didn't,
but
yeah. Well,
they're
I'm
nice.
just, it's the holidays.
Yeah.
So I mean, we don't have time.
No, we don't.
No, don't have time to flesh them out. We're just gonna have to go with them as they are. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. You never know what you're going to hear. Here, Lauren Leon
It's part of the
McMillan.
fun of living with me.
Yes, it is. David McMillan, we're talking about some hard truths that people talk about that they weren't ready for in getting older. Here's another one. I'm really old. The two hardest parts are having almost everyone you've ever known die, so your entire history dies with them, and losing mobility one way or another sucks.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, again, like I said, I feel so blessed that I really don't, I sleep well at night, relatively so.
I think so.
And other than a little, and actually, Stacy at the Balanced Life, I think, has really helped.
I know she
The
has.
knee,
Oh,
the
I've
knee
noticed.
stuff.
I've noticed the difference.
And I'd tried a lot of things. I'd tried a lot of different, and whole body vibration helped a bunch. But but I noticed a tremendous difference since going, and I've had 3 or 4 sessions. I've lost count, but I'm going to keep going because it's helping. So, Stacy over at the Balanced Life Wellness Center on Kings Highway has really, and I'm not saying I don't have. It's not taking my knee pain to 0 exactly, but doggone near. And you were asking me the other day. We were at a place where we were going up and down stairs, and you asked me, "Is that going to be a problem?" And I think it's, I think 6 weeks ago I'd have said, yeah, maybe. But now I think I answered you. I think it's going to help to go up and down stairs, So there you go. Here's another one. For me, it's just losing that feeling of innocence that you had in your youth. Like seeing your crush in class and imagining a relationship in your head. Hanging out with good friends. And, all it was swimming, eating junk food, watching movies, no alcohol or the other stuff, just a family-sized Dorito bag and Dr. Pepper. It's hard to put into words, but I miss the feeling when you and your crush would sit in some bleachers and felt nothing could go wrong. And no worrying about sex or marriage, just you and the person of your affections, just talking about life, nearly holding hands. When you get older, you lose the excitement of so many firsts. Your first kiss, your first time sneaking out, your first time walking around a mall. Good luck trying to find a mall these days. Without parental guidance. First this and first that. Life just feels so exhilarating. The feeling begins to fade out as you get older, and it's hard. Those times were so happy and stupid. I would wonder how old that person is that wrote that.
Yeah. So I know I don't have a lot of mileage or I don't know that I have a lot of clout since I'm not, I'm not of the age, right? But I don't think, and I hope I'm right. I'm open to be wrong, but I don't think you have to lose that innocence at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's part of what Jesus's message was, and be like little children.
Yeah.
Right? Is that we truly don't ever have to lose the innocence. Now, I think part of growing up and becoming wiser is gaining a self-awareness and gaining in consciousness and awareness.
Right.
But with that, you don't have to lose the excitement or the
excitement, the hope.
Yeah, or the wonder.
Yeah.
In fact, I've found so far in my expansion of self-awareness and consciousness that the wonder increases.
Yeah.
And I don't pine for
yeah.
the first. In fact, no, I wouldn't go back.
This is from a female, and she says, when I was young, I spent a lot of energy fending off unwanted attention and harassment. Not every day, but enough. Now that I'm older and have started to naturally age, I feel pretty much invisible to everyone. There are pros and cons to this, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that one's very personal
Yeah.
too. I think it depends on how you measure up to standard beauty standards, and then also your confidence and how you um carry yourself,
Yeah.
right? And what
Yeah.
you're magnetizing towards yourself in terms of experiences.
Here's another one that says your body changes in ways that you don't want it to.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah, totally. And I think again, there's two things that we all have to do well, actually,
This is the grief part.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is the grief part, but
Part of it.
but I think, I'm thinking about from the moment sperm meets egg
Mhm.
until we exit this planet,
This body.
this body.
Mhm.
There's two processes that are extremely important,
Right.
and that's the process of adaptation and the process of integration.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of consciousness.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that a lot of people really understand those important, even though they are so important to human life. I'm not sure that we do enough talking about the process of adapting and the
Mhm.
process of integrating
Yeah.
into our lives.
Yeah, it's funny how it's such a natural and even biological, physiological process. And yet when we, get a little mind and a little ego involved,
Yeah.
we can fight so hard, resist that natural process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of adaptation and integration.
And by doing that, we create a lot of unnecessary pain
and problems.
and
Yeah.
problems that, again, we don't know we're doing it, but that's what our ego does.
And again, it's about the story, what you're telling yourself over whatever the event is happening that's
Yeah.
most important, right?
So here's another one that says realizing your death is getting closer and your dreams will not come true.
Hmm.
So that's actually two things there.
Yeah.
Realizing your death is getting closer.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We truly don't know.
I mean, and I've said this before. And I hope I stay with this. But I can say at this moment, I don't want death to come right now, but I'm not afraid of it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's an adventure. It's going to be an
the door to
adventure.
the
It's
next adventure.
I don't believe. Carl Jung was asked if he believed in God,
Right.
and he said, "No, I know there's a God."
Mhm.
There is a difference between a knowing and a believing.
Yeah.
And at this point, I know there's life that goes on beyond our bodies dying.
Right.
And so to me, that makes it a great adventure.
Mhm.
What's that experience going to be like? And in terms of dreams will not come true. And again, if life doesn't end when
You've
our
got
physical
plenty of time
body
to
ends,
make your dreams
yeah,
come true.
I mean,
all of
how
them.
do we know what's going to happen beyond the veil that we go through or where we walk through
And
into the next
that in
life?
and of itself can be quite the ego trap, because
Mm.
we don't know, if you go ahead and accept, well, my dreams aren't going to come true. Well, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Right. You still have time.
Here's one that says, I could sound like a broken record that's been heard by all generations, but the truth is, as you get older, the healing process gets slower, and you end up in pain for longer periods of time. You'll hit a threshold where trying to work out the pain only makes it worse.
I don't know about that one. I can't speak to it from experience.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm kind of the mindset right now. I truly know and have witnessed the power of what you might call quote unquote mind over matter, right? And that we are great and powerful beings, creators, and self healers.
There's no doubt about the self-healing part. One of the things that concerns me,
Mm-hmm.
and with no disrespect to the pharmaceutical industry and the researchers. And I mean, I know that they've done Herculean things, but so many of the medicines advertised now have the caveat in their commercials about okay, well, you take this prescribed medicine or that prescribed medicine, it could weaken your immune system.
Mhm.
And
Well, and on
that
top,
worries me.
well, and on top of that, the state of our food, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's a combination. It's a 1-2 punch of the food that we eat is not as near as nutritious as it once was or could be.
I think it's a huge difference in the food between when I was a little
Yes.
guy
And
and
now,
today.
yep, it's
I don't
huge.
think there was anywhere near the number of preservatives
and additives
and additives into the food that I
Non-food.
consumed when I was 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Grew up in the A&P grocery store, and
So it's a 1-2
yeah,
punch of
yeah.
that plus the pharmaceuticals that are trying to quote unquote fix the problems of the food we're eating, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think probably when I was 5 or 6 years old, a can of Vienna sausage was probably a heck of a lot healthier. Not that it was healthy,
Okay.
but it was healthier
Glad
than a can of Vienna
recognize that.
sausage today.
Yes, I will.
Because of what else has gone into it, and I hope we'll be looking at that. We're talking about getting older today and the things that people say that they struggle with, that they weren't ready for as they age. Talking about that today here on Strategies. We've got more. Stay with us. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning RX Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning RX.
Tune in for a dose of good cheer. Lauren and David are here. Strategies for living is the show. Healthy mind and spirit we know. Jingle bells ring bright, guiding you through the night. With wisdom and delight, tune in and feel the light.
And welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM. 710 Keel, Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, and what do you feel? I mean, we all share this. It doesn't matter how old we are. We're all getting older each and every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the.
We'll never be as young as we are today.
Yeah,
right?
there are a number of things that we share that we don't think about sharing, and one of them is we're aging every single day, and some people say that as they age, there's things that they weren't ready for. Here's one, and I feel for this. This person says the complete inability to sleep. The older you get, the earlier your body wakes you up. You don't necessarily need to be up for anything on Saturday or Sunday morning, but your body has decided you need to go to work on your off days. When you're a teenager and in college, sleeping 12 to 14 hours when you have nothing to do is completely normal and acceptable. This person says I would pay $100 a night if I could get 12 hours of uninterrupted sleep and actually feel well rested when I wake. Hmm. So, I think sleep is one of those things that also falls into like our awareness of what we put into our body.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are totally unaware. I mean, a lot of people need to go to the grocery store with you.
With me?
Yeah, well, this is something that, you know, and between Lauren and I, she's much more health conscious than I am. I have my habits. I like my sweet things. I'm much more aware of them, and I don't eat as many of them. But I still have my sweet things around. Of course, that includes you, most of all. But I'm talking about things you bring home from the store, and I'll be sitting at the table with whatever my caramel that I've snuck into the buggy.
Yes.
From the grocery store. I'll have it, and having me a few bites of caramel, and Lauren will pick up the ingredients and start reading it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important. It's
And
awareness.
I don't doubt that. But
because especially I think that caramel is actually a good example because it said something on the bottle like no high fructose corn syrup. But then when you read the ingredients, it's got invert corn syrup and 2 other types of corn syrup.
that may be just as bad as high fructose, right?
Right.
Okay, so the point I'm making is about what does that have to do with sleep? Well, as unaware as most of us are of what we are putting into our bodies, I think also we are unaware of good, healthy sleep hygiene.
Yeah, I think
And
you're right.
I
That
think
needs to be something we all talk more about.
I agree, and I think one of the main offenders are the devices, our iPads, our
Majorly.
iPhones and cell phones, as well as our computers and our televisions, because they give
all
out
of the blue light.
the blue light, and we don't realize.
All of the science, all of the studies point to you don't want blue light within an hour or 2 of going to bed.
Right.
And not to mention the other frequencies that are emitted by the phone. And people putting, I raise my hand in this. I still keep my phone, pretty close to your head at night, and that's not really great for your sleep.
Not really good. It would be much better if we take a trip down to Walmart and get an alarm clock to put by our at the head of our bed, instead of using and plug in our devices away from us.
The bed.
Instead of using, a lot of people use the cell phones as their, and including me, as our alarm. But my point is that just looking at the things in terms of making ourselves more consciously aware of what sleep hygiene entails. And so, for whoever wrote this, the solution may be easier than you think.
Yeah, I think it is true that as you age, you need less sleep, and your sleep habits are going to change.
Yeah.
But that certainly shouldn't mean that your quality of sleep decreases along with it.
Yeah.
That's something that you can work towards.
Yeah.
And one of the huge foundations of that, as you mentioned, is a good sleep hygiene routine, whether that's to fall asleep or getting up in the morning, or both, preferably.
Yeah. Here's one that says, my husband and I opted not to have children. I still don't regret the decision, but I do wonder what will happen to me when I'm older. I'm 65 now, but if I lose my husband, I'll be alone, and that scares me. Well, okay. What are we telling ourselves there?
Right.
I will be alone. If I lose my husband, I'm not alone because of my husband now, but if I lose my husband, I will be alone.
Because here's the thing, even if you did have children, right? Who's to say that they would be there, right? I mean, they're their
Our
own
children
people.
have their own lives,
Yeah.
and they have children, and I love my children and I love my grandchildren, but each and every one of them has their independent lives.
Yeah,
And
they're not tied to you
yeah,
or meant to sustain your sense of self.
yeah. Let's see. This is one simple one from Sneaky Benner,
Okay.
and it says just simply accepting it. That's the hardest thing. Is just accepting
Yeah,
it.
I think that's the hardest for everybody, not just older, not just as you're getting quote unquote whatever we're going to agree is old age, right? But as you age, period.
You have said a couple of times now in the program grieving.
Yes.
And I don't think enough of us relate, Lauren, that life from birth to death is a process of things that we have to give up from being in the womb and all of our needs taken care of. We have to give that up. We have to give up being teenagers. We have to give up being, well, when we're 2 and 3 and we're so cute, the world revolves around us. We have to give that up. We have to give up the perceived power of our 20s, and on and on and on. So from birth to death, I mean, it doesn't just happen in old age.
No.
And grief is that's the process that we go about accepting.
Right.
Yeah. So
it's how we grow.
Yeah.
We grow through grief.
and so
And it can be a great transforming process.
if you don't know anything about grief and the grieving process, and I'm not saying most of us, if we've lived long enough, have experienced grief, but have we really studied grief? Do we know grief? And that might be
And to truly embrace
embracing it.
grief.
Yeah.
What a life.
Yeah. Well, I think we've given a lot of food for thought, if you will, today. A lot to chomp on and think about. And we'll probably do more of this
Sounds good.
here on Strategies. We'll be back. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
On a snowy day, tune in your way. Strategies for living here to stay. For your mind, your body, and your soul. One advice to keep you home by the firelight. Hear wisdom bright.
I don't know how much
Radio
snow
waves
we're
making
experiencing
spirits
right
Hey,
now.
now we like to pretend.
Yeah,
Tis the
well,
season.
tis the season, right? Yeah, I get it. I get it. Hey, folks, welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, and Strategies for a Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. And we're talking about getting older and the things that people didn't necessarily expect from getting older. What's the takeaway for you today?
I think, a lot of what we talked about are, we were able to find a lot of strategies in, right?
Yeah.
And the strategy that runs through it all is about accepting it.
Yep.
Moving through what we didn't accept with grief.
Right.
And being able to maybe see a different perspective.
Look at it from a different
angle.
Yeah.
Right? If you find yourself stuck in one of those, oh, why is it this way?
Yeah.
Perhaps it need not be that way.
Yeah.
What's another way it can be?
What else? Yeah. What can you go back around the other side of it and look at it from a different angle?
I mean, there are some
You might
things,
see it differently.
Some things we can't change. One of them is getting older. So.
God grant me the serenity to
right.
accept those things I can't change, the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah.
There you go. The old serenity prayer. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you. We appreciate you tuning into Strategies for Living. We do this each and every day for you, and we can do it because of our wonderful sponsors. Tell them you appreciate it. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing,
Oof, oof.
and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitta's Delicatessen, the home of the Godfather Alligator Italian Sausage. If today were the last day of your life, and you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan, I'm David McMillan. See you next time, right here on Strategies for Living.
Report.